Dreamweaver steps and processes we did in class on Friday for those of you that want to rewatch the steps a few more times over the weekend here. Remember, Monday you should have your master template fully customized, meaning that all the buttons, all the masthead information, the navigation should all be originally customized by you to fit you for your 6 things. Your CSS should also be updated to match the color palette and the overall look and feel for your personal site, because Monday we're going to jump into your homepage, your index.html, and start editing that page to make it our landing page for our 6 things site. So remember, in Dreamweaver, every class we're going to go in and connect to our root directory folder, just like we did the last 2 classes. So I'm going to go up here to Dreamweaver and go to Site, New Site. If you're logging in via your buried credentials on the computer that you always use, as long as you resave your root directory to the desktop, it should appear in Site Manage Sites. If it does not, then just do Site New Sites. And remember, you have to pick the desktop. Here under your local root or site folder, we're going to click on this little icon here and connect to the desktop and connect to my movies folder and go ahead and save. And it's going to connect here in your files window. Right over here, all of our files. And we're off and running. Remember, we're in the master movies.dwt template. So we got to make sure that everything you customize for your template is in your movies.dwt. Remember, that is the parent master template, and the individual movies pages is the child DWT file, meaning that it's built on the framework or wireframe of our movies.dwt. So the secondary and primary and masthead and crumbs areas are all predetermined by the movies.dwt. Now, remember, you should be in standard mode up here in the corner, and you should be in split view as your view, and I prefer design view because that will give us our div containers, these little rows and columns. You can actually click and highlight them, and it's easier to see that this is a big box and it's made up of little boxes. All right, now we're in the HTML code down the bottom here, specifically for your movies.dwt. So remember, we have to customize all of these things to make them yours. So we're going to do this, right? This is all stuff we did. I'm just recapping it very quickly. Remember, we changed this navigation, originally made it all lowercase, and then we changed it back to all uppercase. You do not need to update these HTML names because they are going to stay the same. We're not changing the level 1 or primary pages. We are changing the secondary pages, which are listed right over here. So you need to make sure that your names over there are changed. You'll also remember that this area right here, code line 13 in your movies.dwt, is how you change this color. Now, we used in class this color hex color palette website to pick a color palette for our website. For this little quick demo, I'm going to change it to blues. I think I used like the coffee style colors, the earth tones, with our lecture in class. But you'll see I change it there and it changes. Now, something we did new last class, remember, as we change the names of our 6 things, we have to make sure that our HTML hyperlinks match those names. So I'm going to go in here and change these to the appropriate names. Remember, all lowercase, no spaces. Name it something you'll be able to remember. Now, when we change them over there, we also have to change the names over here. So remember, you can click once and then click again on the file name and make sure that all the TV show names that are over here. Oh, I already have a monk, so I don't need that one to be monk. So let's make it Bones. We already have a monk. Make sure you always say update. Good doctor. Oh. So if you double click, see how I double clicked on that? It opens up the page itself up in the tabs. So if it's not changing the name by clicking once and then clicking again, you can always control click and go to edit, rename. So control click, edit, rename. So all of the TV shows should be over here in HTML. Why is that important? Because when we come into class on Monday, I'm going to have you open up your websites, your index.html in the browser, and make sure that all of your secondary navigation, when you click on it, goes to the actual page. We need to make sure this thing works. So once we edit those elements, we're going to do save. It's going to ask us to update all of our files. We are going to say update, and then it's going to run through its update, and it will be good to go. Now, remember, this is where we went in class on Friday, was over to Movies Style Sheet, because the Movie Style Sheet is where the colors are for all of our master template wireframe elements. So when I mouse over the body color, you're going to see it's white or black, and then you're going to see things like body background is that shade of gray. These are my hyperlink colors for mouse over navigation. So they are preset to these colors. Those are for our buttons, our Ahrefs. So go ahead and change those to be the color palette that you have selected. A hover color should be different than our link color or our visited color. And I like to have our link and our active color the same color. So just kind of as you're navigating, you'll notice the container is 1024, which is our big box. We talked last class about header, and header is this stripe. So when you mouse over, you'll see that color is that color. I'm going to go in here to my hex and copy that, and I'm going to change my header to a dark blue. And I'm also going to change my font color to the light blue. All right, and so remember from last class, there is a drop shadow on your text right here, and it is a pretty substantial one when you go in live view. So we did change it to 5 pixels. I'm actually going to change the shadow to this dark blue instead of it being the gray color that it is. And so every once in a while I'm going to do Command S. Now remember, nav bar is this stripe, and so it's a light color. So let's go with maybe this shade. And so there it is. Let's see, 50 pixels tall, 1024 wide, no margin to it. Text is centered, that is fine. The ASI is over here. So let's update that. That is our secondary navigation. And let's change the ASI background to the dark blue. It's got a height of 568 pixels, this dark blue stripe, and a width of 150. It floats to the left in our browser window. All right, we've got this dark gray color. Let's see what white. Ooh, nice. All right, so that removes that. Let's see here. ASI hover color is currently red when we mouse over. I think when we mouse over, I want it to change to a shade of blue. So you'll start to learn the different settings. All right, and then you have your content. Your footer area needs to be changed. Our navigation links, that's the A, gives you all the settings for that. The navigation hover, which makes it black. I think we need to make the hover a dark blue. And then the posters, which are the 6 little squares on our index page, these are the settings for them. They do have a red fill-in background. They do have this kind of off-white trim color, and then it has a gradient applied to it. So don't change the gradient, but you can go in, adjust background colors and the fill colors. Content posters are locked to 280 by 200. You can see there's another gradient in the main column. So go ahead and go in and adjust the non-gradient settings at the bottom of this page. So you see where it's white. Choose a light color in your color palette. If it's a black pre-fill, make it a dark color like this one is black. Make it a dark color, and then you can adjust these ranges of shades of things to be whatever color kind of matches your color palette. I'm going to go ahead and save this. And so for class, please make sure that your master template, movies.dwt source code, is fully customized to your shows, and the buttons and the masthead is named correctly. And please make sure your CSS has all of the colors reset to be in the color palette that you pick. Remember, there's lots of hex color websites. I just picked that one. So go ahead and customize all your color. Do not adjust the gradient line, which is what these lines are. I put those around the posters. As we get more comfortable, we can go in and tweak that if we want. But for now, just leave it as the gradient color. As a final step in this wireframe design, you can adjust the gradient if you want to. And also, please remember to tighten up the drop shadow. Make it 5 pixels and change the color of it in your masthead. Okay, gang, I'll see you on Monday.